Okay, good morning and welcome everyone. My name is Natalia Rosa and I'll be moderating this morning's Asata webinar with Diners Club and WalletDoc. I'm pleased to say I've agreed to share with us some interesting insights into how they can work with you to add value to your business. Joining us today we have Leonard Schenker, the joint CEO of WalletDoc, and Kevin Lomax, who you all know, the head of corporate card at Diners Club. They will be giving us a brief overview of WalletDoc and will be on hand to answer any questions that you may have. On that point, just some housekeeping for anyone who hasn't yet joined us for a webinar. We would encourage you to ask any questions you have. It's a very simple process. Simply click on the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen and type your question. So there's a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. Type your question. It will come through to me and I will then pose that to our panelists. Please endeavor to ask as many questions as you want throughout the session. You can pose the question as it arises. It won't interrupt the flow of the webinar at all. So all that's left for me now is to hand over to Leonard and Kevin, who will give a brief introduction of themselves, and they'll also take you through a presentation that they have prepared. Kevin and Leonard, it's over to you.
Morning, everyone. Thanks, Natalia, for that introduction. And thank you to everybody who's taken the time out of your busy days to join us on this webinar. I think we've got a very exciting discussion that we want to put together here. Something that we certainly believe is going to go a long way to solving a number of the challenges that the travel industry has. It will also give you an example of how Diners Club is working with third parties to bring real-world solutions to real-world problems for our customers. So thank you very much. We look forward to sharing the info with you.
And hi, everybody. Leonard Schenker here. Echoing what Kevin said, just want to thank you for taking the time to join this webinar this morning. We're very excited to be able to share with you a little bit more information about WalletDoc and how it can hopefully make your lives a little bit easier in terms of dealing with your customers and collecting payment from your customers. Cool. So maybe just going into the webinar. Just to give you a bit of background to WalletDoc. So really what WalletDoc is, it's a bill presentment and payment platform. Now, what does that mean? WalletDoc, our platform, enables the delivery of bills from billers or merchants like yourselves to your customers. And we also facilitate and manage the payment of those bills seamlessly from your customers to you. And we use card as the payment instrument, debit, check, or credit card as the payment instrument. Now, WalletDoc offers or works off three primary channels. The first being the web, so customers can make use of our platform from the comfort of their desktop PC or laptop. Similarly, they can download our smartphone apps across Android or iOS on the mobile. And I encourage you all to search for WalletDoc in the App Store, download it and give it a test drive for yourself. And you'll see the experience that customers out there experience day to day when using WalletDoc to facilitate their bill payments. And lastly and importantly, we also operate via email, where customers seamlessly from within emails can execute bill payments from within Outlook, Gmail, and any other email client that they may be using. So that's just a bit of background to WalletDoc. Just to further elaborate on that background, WalletDoc processes bill payments for a variety of customers in the marketplace, ranging from small businesses, plumbers, lawyers, doctors, electricians, travel agents, and we're obviously going to talk about the travel industry in particular during the course of this webinar. But we also facilitate bill payments for some of the bigger billers in South Africa, the likes of which include many municipalities, City of Johannesburg, City of Cape Town, Tshwane, Ekurhuleni. We do Eskom. DSTV's just signed up. We're busy integrating with them, so they'll go live shortly. MTN, Telkom, and a host of others, just to give you a feel for the caliber of customers and the size of payments that we already deal with during the course of our business today. But I think the purpose of today's webinar is to really discuss how we can enable you and your businesses to safely, securely, and efficiently accept card payments from your customers in a non-face-to-face environment, which I think has always been difficult historically for any business that doesn't have a face-to-face interaction with their customer at time of payment. So just moving forward, in a travel agency type environment, what often happens, and I'm talking in my personal capacity, I often phone my travel agent and I book a ticket. And once we've agreed on an itinerary and an airline, the travel agent typically asks me, well, what are your card details? So that they can obviously process payment. Now, me as a customer, I'm naturally hesitant to give my card details to someone over the phone that I don't particularly know or certainly don't particularly trust. And I think for the travel agents, and you guys would obviously be very familiar with this, there's the challenge around security and PCR. I know that the Travel Association has been talking a lot about being PCR compliant. The banks are obviously coming down on merchants who aren't and need to be PCR compliant, and it's certainly a bugbear in your business to deal with card information. But certainly also when you request card details manually over the phone from a customer, you've also got the operational challenge of now processing and using that information to collect payment. And a lot of businesses have to write that information down on a piece of paper, run to the point of sale device, manually enter those card details into the machine, hopefully without any finger trouble, and payment is then made. And then you can run back to the phone and tell the customer, look, payment's been processed successfully. So those are some of the challenges around payment collection via card today in a non-face-to-face environment. Now, if you look on your screen right now, what you can see is a typical invoice. It's an itinerary and a tax invoice that a travel agent would typically send directly to a customer today. You can see all of the travel detail. You can see the amount that's actually owing to you towards the bottom of the screen by your customer. And the solution that WalletDoc is proposing works as follows. We say to you as the travel agency, instead of sending this tax invoice directly to your customer, which is what you would do today, take that same computer-generated tax invoice and email it to WalletDoc. Now, when I say email it to WalletDoc, you're not emailing it to a human being on our side. You're emailing it directly into our payment platform. Our software automatically processes this invoice, and we enhance it by embedding a payment button into that invoice. And as you can see on screen here, your customer will receive this beautifully branded HTML5 invoice in their regular email inbox. Your travel agency logo will appear. That will be the first thing that they see, together with your business name. We summarize the key information on screen, what they owe and when they owe it by. And what you can see is there's a big embedded view and pay button for the customer to click. All your customer has to do is simply click pay, and they're redirected to a screen into which they can enter their card details with which to settle this particular bill. What you can see here is we also only ask the customer to enter their personal card information. We don't ask them to enter the bank details of your business. We don't ask them to enter any reference numbers, account numbers, or invoice numbers. We take care of all of that on your behalf in the background. You can see towards the top of the screen that all that information is pre-populated. The account number, the invoice number, what they owe and when they owe it by. And that makes the payment experience very seamless and efficient for your customer. As soon as they enter their card details and they click pay, we debit their card for the payment value, and the process is then complete. They get a payment receipt as confirmation of payment, which they can use for their own filing purposes, or they can even on-send to you as proof of payment if they need to. Now, when it comes time to settle, what we do as WalletDoc is we settle you, the travel agents, every business day for the prior day's transactions. So by way of example, if yesterday there were 10 payments of 1,000 Rand each, totaling 10,000 Rand, this evening you would receive that 10,000 Rand into your bank account, less our processing fees. And together with that, as you can see on screen now, you get a corresponding settlement and reconciliation file showing you all of the individual payment information from your customers. So what you would see is individual date and time of payments, the particular invoice number that was paid against, your customer's account number, the gross payment value, our fee, and a net value, the settlement value. And what you can see is this information now enables you to automatically reconcile 100% of the payments made on WalletDoc. Whereas with EFT, as an example, or even if you take credit card details manually, those payments are never specifically linked to an invoice number and an account number. Particularly with EFTs, customers, you rely on your customer to enter their correct account number or invoice number. And what often happens is customers either mistype that information or leave it blank. What often happens is they put the name of your business in that EFT reference, and the net result is when you receive payment, you're unable to seamlessly allocate that payment to the correct customer account on your side, and that results in a much higher back office cost in terms of chasing up those payments. What we can safely say to you on WalletDoc is that if your bill is sent through WalletDoc and payment is made on WalletDoc, we guarantee that you'll allocate 100% of those payments automatically, which actually lowers your back office costs. Just talking about the advantages of the WalletDoc platform today. Because the way our system works, as I mentioned before, we just ask you to take your existing tax invoice or statement or even a quotation and email that same document directly to WalletDoc. It therefore means that there's no integration required. What normally happens with any payments platform is once you've agreed to proceed, we then say, let's get the developers and the technical resources to sit around the table and work out how we're going to integrate. None of that applies with WalletDoc. All you do is take your existing document, tax invoice, statement, or quote, send it to WalletDoc, and we're off away. So no integration required. It also therefore means we're accounting system agnostic. It doesn't matter to us what back-end system you use to issue your invoices or statements. As long as you can produce a PDF document, which includes your customer's email address anywhere in the body of that document, we're off away. We can have you up and running on our platform within minutes. Now, one of the questions I would ask if I were in your position would be, if I send my tax invoice or statement to WalletDoc as opposed to sending it directly to my customer, is there a delay in my customer receiving that document? And the answer is no. As I mentioned before, when you email your tax invoice or statement into WalletDoc, you're not emailing it to a human being. It goes directly into our payments platform. It's processed by software automatically and in real time. And therefore, your customer will also receive that branded invoice or branded email with the embedded payment button in real time. So no delay in that regard. We also don't charge for the presentation or delivery of those bills. So irrespective of how many statements or invoices you elect to send through the WalletDoc platform, there's no charge for the delivery of those bills. Importantly, as you well know, giving your customers the opportunity to settle accounts via card is going to increase the rate and speed of bill payment. Whereas if you only give them the opportunity to pay via EFT, customers who may be under cash flow pressure may otherwise delay payment to you. That's not the case when you're offering a payment via card. Customers can now settle you immediately without impacting their own cash flow because they get access to interest-free credit from their bank. The guaranteed reconciliation and allocation, as I showed you through that payments reconciliation file, is going to lower your back office costs, making your back office accounting team more efficient and freeing up their time to hopefully perform more important functions within your business. Importantly, WalletDoc is PCI compliant. And because we now take away the hassle factor for you of dealing with your customer card information, it also completely de-scopes your business from PCI. So you have no obligation to now comply with PCI at all. Why? Because you never ever deal or have to see with your customer card information. We handle that on your behalf. And that once again lowers your compliance requirements and therefore also lowers your cost of doing business. We also are POPI compliant. We don't share or sell information with any third parties whatsoever. We recognize that the information that goes through our platform is sensitive, and we treat it securely, and it's all encrypted in line with the POPI requirements. By using our platform and enabling your customers to seamlessly settle your accounts via card from the comfort of their PC or mobile phone, it once again reduces operational inefficiencies within your business with regards to performing a manual credit card point of sale entries into your point of sale devices. In fact, if you send all of your invoices through WalletDoc, you can potentially even get rid of your point of sale device, which you could even save on the monthly rental in that regard from your bank. Importantly as well is your customers do not need to be WalletDoc users. So as you saw in the previous slides, you simply send us your invoice or statement. We embed a payment button and on-send a beautifully branded email with your logo to your customer. Your customer who receives that in their regular email inbox does not need to be a WalletDoc user in order to click that pay button and enter their card details. Whereas with other payment mechanisms, if you take other QR code-based payment mechanisms in the marketplace today, if you put one of those QR codes on your bill, your customer cannot pay that. To register for WalletDoc, they simply, and we obviously work very closely with Diners Club in order to offer a commercial model that's very competitive and affordable to you. We work on a pay-as-you-use commercial model. Now, what does that mean? That means we don't charge any upfront fees for the implementation of WalletDoc. We don't charge any monthly fees for the use of WalletDoc. The only time you incur a fee is a card-based transaction fee if and when somebody pays using card on WalletDoc. So by way of example, if you send 100% of your invoices and statements through WalletDoc and all of your customers still elect to pay you via EFT or cash or check, however you normally accept payment, you wouldn't incur a cent from WalletDoc. You would only incur a transaction fee from WalletDoc if and when that payment is made on card using WalletDoc. And that's the pay-as-you-use commercial model that I'm referring to. And the beauty of that is there's no downside risk. There's no CapEx investment in integration in any software development. It's a very low-risk model to you. Nobody pays using card on WalletDoc. You don't incur a cent from us. So that's a little bit more information about the pricing from a WalletDoc perspective. I hope that's given you insight into how WalletDoc works, the benefits that we can offer to your business. What we would do if there's interest, we would come and see you. We would take you through how it works. We can have you up and running quite literally in a matter of minutes. We've had a huge amount of success across a wide variety of industries, including many travel agents who have come on board to WalletDoc. And we would certainly value working with you in implementing WalletDoc successfully in your business. So very happy to entertain any questions that you may have. And once again, I thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you so much, Leonard. We have a very talkative audience this morning, and before I pose some of the questions that have been put through to us, if you would like to ask a question, just go to the Q&A folder at the bottom of the screen and type your question. If we do not manage to answer all your questions today, don't fear, we will be sending you a follow-up newsletter with some of the answers to the questions that you have posed, as well as a video, the presentation, and the recording of this webinar. So you'll have all the information you need to be WalletDoc equipped. Okay, so my first question, and I'm not sure who we should pose this to, either Kevin or to Leonard, is what exactly is the relationship between Diners Club and WalletDoc? Some of the questions we've received are in line with this relationship. So if you could maybe just clarify what that relationship is.
Yeah, thanks. It's Kevin. Yeah, I'll come in and talk about that. And if you don't mind, I'd just like to take a little bit of the history around this. So Diners Club has historically, as everyone knows, been very committed to the travel industry. We are seen as one of the preferred payment products to the travel industry. But what we also started to realize at a point in time is our customers wanted to use our cards for other requirements. And I'm talking from a corporate perspective here. One of the things that they wanted to use our cards for was to pay bills. Corporates have got very large utility bills, the examples that Leonard spoke around, rates and taxes, telecommunications, etc. But what they didn't have was a platform in which to make those payments. Obviously, using card, and if you had to go into multiple websites to make those payments, that's clumsy. It's difficult from a corporate perspective. There's governance issues. So in order to enable that, we went out to the market and we started speaking to a couple of the financial technology providers out there to say, we want you to look at building a platform for us. None of them were able to offer our customers a solution we needed. We then started speaking to WalletDoc, who had actually started along this journey even before we spoke to them. We had a really good conversation with Leonard and his partners. We did a due diligence around the system, all the security components that obviously a financial service company would look at, the PCI components, the tech that they enabled, and we decided that WalletDoc was somebody that we could do business with. It's not a joint venture. It's not a partnership. There's no shareholding relationship. All we feel is that WalletDoc, from a technology platform as well as from a company philosophy platform, is one that Diners Club is happy to work with and introduce our customers to. we've seen massive success over the last 18 months around this. And through the evolution and Leonard's thinking around where he wants to take solutions to, he then came up with the idea that says there's something available here for the travel industry. And then using our relationships through Asata, through our networks, we said, yeah, we agree. We're going to help you expose this to an industry that's important to us.
Thank you, Kevin. So quite a few of the questions that we've received are around whether all cards are accepted on WalletDoc. Is that something you can speak to, Leonard?
Absolutely. So yes, although we have a strategic relationship with the Honest Club, and we've enjoyed immense success in working with the Honest Club, as Kevin has briefly said, obviously it's important to you as a business to be able to accept any payment card that your customer presents. And yes, we accept all payment cards on the WalletDoc platform.
Is that debit and credit, Leonard?
Yeah, so it's debit, check, and credit. Obviously, most debit cards today are enabled for e-commerce usage. So it's all cards enabled for e-commerce usage. The very, very old debit cards that may not be enabled for e-commerce usage wouldn't apply, but the vast majority of debit cards are. So yes, it's any debit, check, or credit card enabled for e-commerce usage.
What about the Diners Club merchant fee? Who carries that cost? That's one of the questions we received.
So great question. Once again, this is a card transaction. So yes, there is a merchant service fee. The merchant, so the travel agent in this case, would pick up a merchant service fee. But once again, through our relationship with the Honest Club, we work very closely with the Honest Club to ensure that we offer competitive rates to merchants out there. We want to make sure that it's obviously affordable and efficient for your business to accept card payments. So the merchant would pick up a fee from WalletDoc in this case. But it's not a WalletDoc merchant fee plus your regular point of sale fee. It would just be a WalletDoc merchant service fee in this case. And we would work with merchants on a case-by-case basis to ensure that we're offering a fee that's in line with what you're currently getting and that's affordable to your business.
So is that processing fee by transaction, or how would it normally work?
Yes, so it's on a per transaction basis. So much like when you've got a point of sale device, your bank would charge a merchant service fee on a per transaction basis to you. We would charge also a per transaction fee, a merchant service fee, but that's where it starts and ends. There's no monthly fee, there's no upfront fee. And based on the value and throughput that the merchant is able to put through the WalletDoc platform on a monthly basis, we would obviously structure a rate that works well for the business in question.
Do you need a merchant number or a facility from a bank?
No, so it's another great question. So all you need to do is work with WalletDoc. There's one relationship with us, and you can accept all cards. You don't need to now go and enter into separate agreements with any other card association, nor do you need to apply for an additional merchant number.
Brilliant. Okay, lots of questions coming in. If you want to pose a question, just click on your Q&A folder at the bottom. Send that through, I'll get them, and I'll endeavor to forward as many as I can through to Kevin and Leonard so they can field them. Maria wants to know, how does the customer receive an original travel agent tax invoice if required?
So a fantastic question once again, and I'm glad you asked that. So even though you as the travel agent send your invoice or statement to WalletDoc, and WalletDoc sends that branded email to your customer, when the customer clicks that view and pay button, they still have the opportunity to download your original tax invoice or statement in its original format, as if you, the travel agency, had sent it directly to the customer. So the customer still has access to the full set of details within that document, enabling them to see all of the relevant information to then make a decision, am I comfortable to pay? So the customer's at no loss of information whatsoever, because you've elected to make use of WalletDoc to facilitate that card payment.
And WalletDoc is 3D secure, is that correct?
Absolutely. So where the card is 3D secure enabled, we obviously support that 3D secure transaction.
Okay. Sean says, if the customer is a corporate, so not a leisure individual, do you still foresee that WalletDoc would be feasible, or is this mostly for leisure travelers?
Yeah, so I mean, I'd like to come in here. So we absolutely think that there's a huge corporate opportunity here for a number of things. And I'll use a couple of examples that we think will have application. And if no one minds, I'll use the travel industry B word, billbacks. So in the example, for example, where an invoice has been received from a hotel that has to be processed, if you could foresee an opportunity for that invoice to have the card payment capability embedded in it that WalletDoc provides, you could effectively then use the corporate lodge card or any other corporate card, and the travel agent can make that payment on behalf of the corporate, and the hotel, for this example, would actually be the merchant. So again, it comes back to where those merchant fees are carried. It would actually be carried by the individual, by the organization where it should be. So I think it's not a simple lift and drop. What we would have to do is work with the travel agent, WalletDoc, to say, how do we embed this capability in your corporate proposition? And that's obviously the consulting that we provide. We think there's a number of examples of using it in a corporate space, all the way from hotels to settling for car hire that's been done, settling outstanding bills. We think that there's a major opportunity in the corporate space.
Thank you.
Yeah, echo that as well. I mean, we've got many corporate customers making use of our platform today, both as merchants and both as bill payers. And what we've certainly seen is corporate customers in many incidents are comfortable with the concept of settling travel-related expenses using cards. So absolutely. But once again, I want to emphasize that just because you might be sending out the bill through WalletDoc, we don't force your customers to pay via card. All we're doing here is we're giving them card as a convenient payment option. But if they so choose to still pay you via EFT, cash, check, or any other payment method that you support, they're obviously still welcome to do that. And that's important that you understand. All this is doing is giving customers an option to pay via card if they choose to.
Great, lots of questions still coming in, and I want to assure you that you can send a question. We will endeavor to answer it. If not in this session, we will send an FAQ afterwards. So please feel free to send your questions on the Q&A folder below. A lot of questions coming in with regards to how payment works. So apologies if I'm repeating myself, guys. Confirm that the fee charged is per invoice. So if I send 6 invoices to one client, 6 fees will be charged, correct?
Well, remember, we charge based on transactions done. And a card merchant surface fee is typically a percentage of value. So it's really about the value that's being processed through the platform as opposed to the quantity of invoices, right? If you send 6 invoices of 1,000 Rand each, totaling 6,000 Rand, or you send 1 invoice to the value of 6,000 Rand, your fee will be the same. So it's don't worry too much about the quantity of invoices. It's more about the Rand value that's ultimately paid through the platform.
Okay, all right. Is it correct that the TMC would pay 2 fees? So the Diners merchant fee and the WalletDoc fee?
No. Great question, and I'm glad it was asked just so we can clarify that. There's certainly not 2 fees to pay. No matter which payment card is presented or is paid on the platform, you incur 1 fee by WalletDoc, and we would obviously settle our obligation to Diners Club in the background. So there's only 1 merchant service fee. There's not 2 merchant service fees in this regard.
Question, what is that transaction fee? Is that something you can share with us, or does that depend on the user?
That goes through the platform. So what we would typically do is value is going through the platform, or potential value would be going through the platform. We'd obviously structure a rate accordingly. But as I mentioned before, we work very closely with Diners Club to enable us to offer a very competitive and affordable rate to the travel agency.
Okay. Do you still need to pay the merchant fees to a bank for settlement to our bank account via an e-commerce merchant number? I think you might have answered that already.
No, another good question, and all of these are good questions in terms of clarification. Absolutely not. The beauty of working with WalletDoc is you engage with us. There's one relationship between your business and us, and we take care of card acceptance and settlement thereafter. So there's no multiple relationships, multiple fees. It's one relationship with us, 1 transaction fee from us. We accept all cards, and we handle settlement directly into your bank account. No additional fees.
Does the fee vary depending on the card type?
No, we'll charge 1 rate, and that will be for all cards.
Okay, and what is the fee percentage is one of the questions we've received.
Yeah, so once again, it depends on the throughput. It depends on how much value is potentially put through the platform on a monthly basis. But I suppose to give a feel, I mean, it's generally in the middle 2%. Call it in and around 2.5%, but it varies. Obviously, it depends on the throughput that goes through the platform.
Okay, some questions around security. What about GDPR from a European perspective? How is your data protected?
So we're fully compliant with all the necessary GDPR requirements. As I mentioned, we're also fully compliant with the POPI requirements. So we don't share or sell information with third parties whatsoever. We encrypt all of our data with strong cryptography. And by the way, some of the requirements in terms of PCR are that we get independently tested against these security rules and regulations. So on a regular basis, our systems are penetration tested. And I always use the example, it's not like school where you get 51% and you pass. You either pass or you fail, and failure results in literally shutting down. So the rules and regulations are very stringent and costly, but ultimately they're there for your protection. And I can safely say that on our platform, we have not incurred 1 cent worth of fraud losses on our platform. So we take security obviously very seriously in that regard.
Okay, a question from Stephen is, I believe that Dynas is not 3D secure. Can you clarify if someone is paying with a Dynas, how secure that transaction is? Thanks.
Yeah, so correct. Dynas is currently not 3D secure. We are in the process of implementing a system called Protect By, which is our equivalent to 3D secure. But what we have done on the Dynas side, we've introduced additional controls on our back end. So if a transaction does go through WalletDoc, we have got some additional controls which enable people to pay higher amounts than our typical transaction fees. And we're very comfortable with the security that's currently in place. We've got a number of corporate users on the WalletDoc application now who are literally paying tens of millions of rands every month through this. And through the relationship that we've got, plus the security that we've given them, we also have not had any issues around this at the moment. However, we will be introducing our Protect By onto this just as an added level of comfort, but not to say that it's going to necessarily be required across every transaction that we do.
Okay.
But just that as well, as I mentioned before, I mean, we obviously will 3D secure any card that is enabled for 3D secure. Having said that, we also risk score each and every transaction processed on our platform, irrespective of card type. And that's obviously some sophisticated fraud prevention mechanisms that we've built into our platform. And to echo Kevin's points, I mean, we've got literally billions of rands flowing through our platform, on an annualized basis. And we're very comfortable that the security is there such that we haven't had a cent's worth of fraud losses. So I hope that addresses your concerns.
Thanks, Leonard. Lots of questions around the nuts and bolts, which is really great. It shows people are interested. And so one question was, in the example that you used, Leonard, to obtain the invoice for tickets, the tickets would need to have been issued, and this done without having the funds from the traveler. So the agency carries the risk, and this process doesn't facilitate cleared funds process. Is that something that you would be able to answer?
Yeah, so really the WalletDoc system works in the way that you as a travel agency can send out any document through our platform at any stage in the life cycle of dealing with your customer. So for example, if you wanted to secure your funds from your customer before the ticket's even been purchased, you could send out a quote through our platform. It doesn't only have to be an invoice, a statement, or an itinerary. It's any document upon which an amount of money is owing. So in that example, if you sent out a quote through our platform, which included the total rand value that your customer owed you, customer could then settle you via card using WalletDoc. In real time on our platform, you can actually confirm whether that payment has been made or not. And once you've seen that the payment has been made, you can then obviously confirm and proceed with the booking of that ticket with the airline. So you can send that document, a quote, an invoice, a statement, a travel itinerary through WalletDoc at any life cycle through dealing with your customers that works for you. So I hope that answers your question.
Thanks, Leonard. Do customers of the travel agency need to register for WalletDoc before they're able to pay the travel agency bill?
No, definitely not. And that was one of the points that I tried to emphasize before, and I'm glad the question's been asked again. Absolutely not. And that's really one of the differentiating factors between WalletDoc and other payment platforms out there. Most platforms require your customer to be a registered user of that particular platform before they can settle your bill. And that results in much lower utilization. With WalletDoc, your customer doesn't have to register, doesn't have to have ever heard of WalletDoc. All they'll simply do is receive that branded email in their regular email inbox. They simply click view and pay, enter their card details, and they're done. So it's a fantastic experience if they're not users of ours. If they already are users of WalletDoc, though, an even better experience because they'll receive an in-app notification in real time that a bill has been issued to them by your travel agency. There'll be a one-touch payment experience. They won't even have to enter their credit card details because we already have those details on file, and they can seamlessly settle your bill. So we actually cater for both scenarios. For customers of yours that are not users of ours, and they certainly don't need to register, and for those that may already be users of ours.
Which leads me to the next question, and Ian, actually thank you for posing it as well. Do I as a supplier need to register? And if so, how do I go about doing that?
Absolutely. So yes, suppliers do need to register. It's literally a 1 to 2 minute registration process. All you need to do is simply navigate to www.walletdoc.com, click on the Send Bills link, and there's a register button there. We'll ask you just some key personal and business related information for KYC purposes. And as I say, thereafter, we'll be in touch with you and we can literally have you up and running in a matter of minutes. So it's a very seamless and entirely electronic registration process. But we're also happy to pop through and come and see you face to face if you would prefer. In that meeting, we can really take you through the platform in a bit more detail and show you exactly how it works. But very quick and easy registration process. We'll also share the link with you directly after this presentation so that you can just seamlessly click on that link and take you straight to the registration page.
Walletdoc.com. Okay, great.
Absolutely.
Lots more questions. We've only got a few minutes left, so I'll try and get through as many as possible. Will the copy reporting of fees paid to WalletDoc for each transaction suffice for auditors?
Yes, so what happens is from an audit perspective, so remember, we will settle you each business day for the prior day's transactions. We will then settle you net of the fees that are owing to us. And every single month, we will send you a tax invoice, which you can then claim the VAT back on those fees. And that would certainly be sufficient from an auditor's perspective.
Okay. Can a client elect for their hotel bills to be paid directly to the hotel vendor for all TMC bookings, which will then be deemed to be settle direct and not bill back to the TMC?
So I think that's a process issue. I mean, it's an interesting question. I think what we'd like to do is explore that with the person who's asked the question. Mm-hmm. I think technically it is probably possible. And I think from a customer experience perspective, I think it would make a lot of sense. But I think that's the kind of thing where, you know, what we've done really well with WalletDoc and other implementations is spend some time with a particular customer, understanding their workflow process and seeing where this would fit into a workflow, and then implementing from there. So from what I've seen in the work that we've done with WalletDoc and with other customers, I would say, yes, it's possible. It would require a little bit of work and some consultations and a whiteboard so we can understand how we implement.
Okay. Will a traveler still be insured via their card, or would they have to get travel insurance? So when issuing a cash ticket and then using a WalletDoc, would they still be qualifying for travel insurance?
So another great question, and the answer is yes. This is a regular card transaction, as if it was swiped at point of sale. So yes, they would qualify for the insurance that their credit card provider gives them for executing a card transaction. And for what it's worth, the customer will also qualify for their respective card program rewards, as if they had swiped it at point of sale. So yes, on both counts.
Does WalletDoc support virtual cards, Leonard?
So effectively the virtual card details, the full primary account number, the expiry date, the CVV, if that virtual card information is used to input into the payment platform, it will run through as a normal card transaction. So the answer is yes. And that was one of the most exciting things that we see in this process is how the WalletDoc invoicing and card payment capability can actually enable even more use of virtual card going forward.
What happens if you send a payment link to a client and he does not confirm payment when he receives the link? Often travelers are constantly on the go and they give approval on the price, including the service fees, and the travel agent normally issues, but sometimes getting them to insert card details on a link can be a delayed task. What happens then?
So what happens is if there's a due date, a lot of customers put a due date in the bill or the statement. So if there's a due date, our system will automatically remind the customer to settle that bill if it hasn't already been settled 1 day prior to the due date. Having said that, there are opportunities for us to conduct campaigns with you. So you might say to us, WalletDoc, can you do a campaign to all users who we've sent bills to that have not that have not yet paid within 5 days. So we can certainly do that. So there are lots of things we can do campaign and marketing wise to stimulate prompt and more efficient payment. But much like any payment channel, some customers do need a bit of a nudge. So you're always welcome to send an additional statement or invoice through. We can obviously we do as much as we possibly can to encourage and stimulate that prompt bill payment through the proactive reminders, through campaigns, working with you and your team.
Okay, another detailed question. Do we need to send to WalletDoc via a secured platform for WalletDoc to know who the client is that has requested payment? Can the request to WalletDoc be made by multiple personnel within an agency?
Another great question. So yes, when we set up a profile on WalletDoc for your travel agency, part of that is we would ask you to send us a list of users on your side who are authorized to send invoices and statements through the WalletDoc platform. We would load those users as authorized users of your profile, and that prevents anybody else who's not authorized from sending out invoices and statements through the platform. And that talks to the security of ensuring only authorized members of staff can send out invoices and statements through the platform.
Okay, thank you. We've got 2 minutes left, so just a couple more questions. Who carries the risk in case of fraud?
So once again, like a normal credit card transaction, certainly with 3D Secure cards, chargebacks are not permitted under any circumstances other than if the services were not provided. So it makes it a very secure payment for you, in that the only way somebody can dispute that transaction is if you didn't provide the goods and services to the customer that you promised. So, you know, there's literally no instances of chargebacks in that regard that we've seen. So very little or no risk at all. In terms of non-3D Secure, it really depends on the issue of the card. But once again, I mean, we've obviously got those sophisticated risk mechanisms and risk scoring models in our system, such that if we pick up any suspicious activity, we will proactively investigate that prior to the successful settlement of funds to prevent any risk to your side. So, you know, there's literally been no risk or no fraud at all on our platform to date.
Thank you. And on that note, I would like to end the webinar. We still have some questions we haven't got through, unfortunately, but we will send those through on an FAQ for you. So if you post a question, we will send you the results, and we will also send you the recording of the webinar for your access at a later stage. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for a very informative webinar, and for all of you who took the time this morning to participate. I really appreciate the questions. Have a good day. Goodbye.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks
Bye.
a lot. Cheers. Bye-bye.